It's a Glen Powell world, and we're all just sort of in Glen Powell's shadow.
If you feel it!
He's the new Channing Tatum, so to speak. That's the power of Glen Powell, man.
This is true.
He'll get
he
you to
does
do
have
anything.
the charisma.
When I see it on the theater, in the big screen, oh wow, that's a whole different feel. I think this movie is going to be a great summer movie to watch in IMAX.
But where they completely lose me. You know, I don't watch a ton of Weather Channel. I don't watch disaster porn that a research scientist would be putting her life on the line and the lives of her team to get in the path of a tornado. I find that line harder to cross than the uncanny valley of Jar Jar Binks.
Don't do that again.
It's that unconvincing and that unbelievable.
Power!
Joining me to talk the good, the bad, and the meh of July movie releases is a first-time guest to the Dragon Movie Guy podcast. Flix Talk has over 43,000 subscribers, and his first-time watching and trailer reaction videos have been known to get over 100,000 views. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome to the Dragon Movie Guy podcast, Flix Talk.
What an introduction! Wow.
Are those fireworks?
Yes, ma'am.
July 19th, we get the sequel, and it's not a comedy sequel. It is a sequel 30 years in the making. It is Glen Powell, you know, not Channing Tatum, but actually Glen Powell, the actual Top Gun Maverick actor. Daisy Edgar-Jones, you know, and we're getting a bunch of other actors that people will recognize in the sequel to Twisters. Not, you know, kind of feels like it was on the dartboard of potential Twister sequel names. You know, I guess it beats having a colon with a subtitle for no reason. It beats just being Twister 2. Ha ha ha. Not a huge fan of the name, but Twisters. What are your thoughts on the trailer and the potential for Twisters?
So I got to say, when this trailer initially came out, oh God, was this around Super Bowl that the first trailer came out? I want to say, because I remember that was like a big weekend where that one came out. I think our first look at Deadpool, Wolverine and Deadpool came out. So that one came out, and I was like, oh wow, okay, this looks like a sequel. This looks like a sequel. And then they started implementing so many things that I remember from the original, and I'm like, huh. Okay, so this is a reboot? And people were arguing with me it's not a sequel, it's a requel, it's a reboot, it's a rehash, it's a refresh, all these that people were throwing at me, and I'm like, I don't know the difference, but I understand so I guess the director officially came out and said it's not a sequel, but it's gonna be it's not a reboot, but it definitely has some elements of the original. So I guess just paying homage to the original with new characters that seem similar to the first characters. It's very confusing, but the more I see this trailer, especially in theaters, because I saw it here at the house, and when I see it on the theater in the big screen, oh wow, that's a whole different feel. I think this movie is going to be a great summer movie to watch in IMAX, like, you know, a big, huge, whatever you guys can watch it in the biggest scope possible. Do I think it's going to be a good movie, though? It's going to be one of those niche demographic movies because, once again, it's a disaster movie at the end of the day. It doesn't matter how many hunky people you have in front of you. I mean, pretty girl, pretty guy, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, is it going to keep your action peak interest? And from what I've seen, you got double tornadoes, and you got a lot of them replicating the same scenes from the first movie, and they're storm chasers and stuff. I don't really know who this demographic is for, but it does look like a fun disaster movie. And you're right. I don't know about the name Twisters. It doesn't roll off the tongue like the first one, Twister, does. But I don't know what else I would have called it, to be honest. I mean, Twister, here we go again. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, let's do the twist like we did last summer.
Yeah.
You know, it's such a weird thing because it is, you know, it's a proven IP. Twister, the original one in 1996-97, was a huge hit. I'm honestly surprised that they never did another sequel, and now that Bill Paxton is dead, obviously we're not going to get another, you know, one.
John C. Reilly.
Yeah, and Helen Hunt. the thing where they lose me though, when you watch the first Twister, and it's good filmmaking, not great, but it is good filmmaking. It's Apollo 13 level good. But the CGI was it was not great. It was great for 1996, but it was pretty obviously CGI even back in 1996. The CGI 30 years later is better. It's still, I think, has a certain uncanny valley quality to it. But when I see that we're just going with the same archetypes, we're going with the same, okay, well, Daisy Edgar-Jones is clearly going to be the daughter of Helen Hunt, or the niece, or, that's her role. Glen Powell is clearly doing the Cary Elwes kind of combined with Bill Paxton. Okay, so we're combining characters now. That's okay, fine. Anthony Ramos, surprisingly has very low billing on this one. He was like 7th or 8th on the list. That surprises me after he's kind of really emerged as a leading man and headlined a Transformers movie a year or two ago. So having him in a smaller role kind of surprises me a little bit. But where they completely lose me is where they bring out the Dorothy machine. And
that's where I called it when I was first. Sorry to cut you off, but when I first initially watched the trailer, I go, they brought out Dorothy. This is a reboot. Didn't it say Dorothy 5 or something, or it had a number attached to it, or was I wrong about that?
Yeah. It's, and I don't know whether it's theoretically like the latest iteration of, or it's an homage to, or whether they just literally took the same exact prop and. But one of the good things, the really good things about what made Twister original was the idea of a Dorothy, of sending particles up into a tornado, being cutting edge science for the mid '90s. I don't watch a ton of Weather Channel. I don't watch disaster porn kind of stuff. But it seems like with the advances that we've had with satellite technologies, supercomputers, AI,
drones,
LiDAR, drones. I don't think that Dorothy would be considered cutting edge technology anymore.
That's very true.
We have so many good, RFID kind of things. There's so many great technologies that have been implemented and discovered in computers and processing. And I don't think that something like Dorothy is convincing in 2024. As being cutting edge, that a research scientist would be putting her life on the line and the lives of her team to get in the path of a tornado to get data that they couldn't get any other way. I find that line harder to cross than the uncanny valley of Jar Jar Binks. Like it's that unconvincing and that unbelievable that a research scientist, and especially after seeing the storylines being told in the trailer, I don't think that someone that would be exposed to that kind of trauma of losing team members would then jump right back into, oh yeah, of course I'll lead a team and drive right back into the line of a tornado.
Well, that's the power of Glen Powell, man.
This is true.
He'll get you to do. He
does have the charisma.
Yeah, he has his face on the T-shirt, and he has the charisma. So
he does have. Well, he does have the ability to to get Sydney Sweeney, or at least in Anyone But You kind of format. And
he saved Tom Cruise and the other kid, I forget his name, but
yeah,
in Maverick,
Goose's son, yeah. Goose's
Exactly.
son, I forget the Ace or whatever. I can't remember what his call sign was, but yeah, he's the one Iceman wannabe. I love Glen Powell. I have not seen the Killer yet, or the Hitman.
That's the Netflix movie, right?
I've heard good things about Hitman. I have not seen it yet, but Glen Powell right now is just sort of everywhere, and starring roles, supporting roles, cameos. It's a Glen...
he's the new Channing Tatum, so to speak.
Yeah, it's a Glen Powell world, and we're all just sort of in Glen Powell's shadow right now. The other thing that was interesting to me about this film, and it's such an attention grabber because I didn't know the name, but Lee Isaac Chung is the director of this film. and I was looking up all the different directors for all the films in this live stream. Lee Isaac Chung was the director of Minari, the Academy Award nominated film where Steve Ewan won Best Actor. So,
you know what? I never saw that. Was that pretty good?
I never saw it either, and I've meant to watch it a couple of times. But you know, when it's a little indie film that gets a Best Actor win, not just a nomination but a win. It's a very specific film. It's about Asian Americans told from an Asian American perspective, from a director of Asian American descent. Lee Isaac Chung is second generation American, so that intrigues me. The fact that his follow-up film would be Twisters, I find
wild.
I mean, I just find that absolutely hilarious, because that is the most American thing that you can do. Is take the one thing that made you unique and special and then sell out as soon as you get any kind of success and go, you know what? I want to make a Twisters film. I have no clue how much money they paid Lee Isaac Chung to dump the indie film, Oscar darling stuff, and go make a CGI running for your life from CGI tornadoes. But God bless him for the amount of money he probably made from this film. And I hope
don't be surprised then if they do the all American thing and have Glen Powell drop in on a missile, like what's that Kubrick movie where he's on the right in the missile? They just drop him. They drop him in the middle of the tornado.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. It's from the mid '60s. Oh God. Yeah. I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, just between
something like that.
Between the Oscar-nominated director and Glen Powell's abs and shit-eating grin, and I don't swear a lot on my channel, but Glen Powell's smile, it's just the perfect. It is the best shit-eating grin since Ian Ziering from 90210, from Steve Sanders from 90210. There's never been an actor with a better shit-eating grin than Ian Ziering until Glen Powell. That is one of the things that I love best about Glen Powell. So, so for those reasons, I am intrigued. To me, the Lee Isaac Chung and Glen Powell's part of the good. I'm okay. Daisy Edgar-Jones, but the CGI.
I don't even think I've seen her in much, to be honest. I know she did that movie, The Craw, where the Crawdads are, or whatever that movie was.
That was good. She did a really good job of that, and I believe she's British. So the fact that she's been able to convincingly do an American accent several times, and in that film she was doing like a Southern accent, a Louisiana kind of Bayou accent, running around in a crop top reminds me of Helen Hunt. But when I see her, I keep thinking that they wanted to get Maggie Grace from Terminator, the last Terminator film, and The Martian. I keep thinking Maggie Grace instead of Daisy Edgar-Jones, which to me just I think goes to the non-specificity of this film and how kind of interchangeable you can say, well, let's get a talented actress who's very attractive in her late 20s, early 30s, and cast someone who's up and coming to be opposite Glen Powell. And there's probably like 5 or 6 actresses that could have cast, and so Daisy Edgar-Jones is one of them. This kind of feels like, to me, I could be wrong.
You mean Mackenzie Davis?
Mackenzie Davis, yeah, that was it.
Mackenzie Davis, yeah.
Mackenzie Grace, yeah. And there is an actress named Mackenzie Grace, but I was thinking Mackenzie Davis, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kept thinking like, the chick from Terminator, whatever the last Terminator was.
Dark Fate.
Yeah, Dark Fate, yeah. Because it was that memorable. I thought it was okay. It wasn't as bad as Genesis, because nothing's as bad as Genesis. But
that's
Dark Fate was one that just when they lost me at Carl's Blinders, or the T-1000 that came back, or the T-800 that came back and killed them off. The Carl's it's a throwaway joke, but the daytime setting and the being stuck at the border, I think there were some ideas there, but I don't think it came across well. But but I just, for whatever reason, I just kept seeing I'm looking at Daisy Edgar-Jones' name. I'm looking at her. I know her face, but I keep seeing Mackenzie Davis. So my guess is they probably had several different actresses planned out.
That would have been a good. And then she's coming up. Is that movie coming up in next month as well, or maybe that's later down the line? The Speak No Evil. It's a remake of a movie that only came out a couple years ago. It's like an international film, but that also has Mackenzie Davis. That one's doing its trailer run. A lot of people are flipping out about that. James McAvoy and Mackenzie Davis.
Okay. So
have you heard of that one?
I've heard of it. Haven't seen the trailer for it. Doesn't surprise me though.
September it comes out. Sorry.
Nice. And also interesting. Future Superman David Corenswet also in this film, and Kiernan Shipka, who was the daughter on Mad Men, and Maura Tierney from Liar Liar, and so good cast, just like the original Twister. So we'll see. I'm not terribly optimistic, but I'm not really good, bad, or meh with this film. I'm just sort of like, oh, it's interesting. It's light summer, I guess. Sort of.
So, do you think you're still gonna catch it on a streamer when it does come out?
This actually might be one that I wouldn't catch on streaming, but might actually go see on like a Tuesday night discount night kind of thing.
Oh, nice.
Because this is it's a big budget visual thing, so it makes sense to watch it in theaters. In some ways, it doesn't make sense to watch it at home unless you have an 80-inch TV or something, which I don't. So I might end up seeing this like on a Tuesday night kind of thing. So what do you guys think? Does Twisters look good or bad or just sort of Let me know in the comments section below this video. Also, are you guys planning to watch Twisters in theaters? Let me know in the comments section below as well. Also, be sure to click somewhere around here. YouTube has a video, so yeah, keep the party going. Please watch that video. I've been Dragon Movie Guy. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.